The Scott Base is a New Zealand Antarctic research facility located at Pram Point on Ross Island near Mount Erebus in New Zealand's Ross Dependency, territorial claim. The research facility was named in honour of Captain Robert Falcon Scott, RN, leader of 2 British expeditions to the Ross Sea area of Antarctica. The base was set up as support to field research and the Centre for Research into Earth Sciences, and now conducts research in many fields. Operated by Antarctica New Zealand. By road, the base is 3 kilometres from the larger US McMurdo Station. Base history. Scott Base was originally constructed in support of the UK-inspired and privately managed Commonwealth Trans-Antarctic Expedition. The New Zealand government provided support for the TE and also for the International Geophysical Year project of 1957, 5 of whose members were attached to the expedition. In February 1956, 10 months before the TE and IGY parties were due to head to the Antarctic, Frank Ponder, an architect at the NZ Ministry of Works, was given the task of designing the base. Ponder's design consisted of 6 main buildings and 3 smaller scientific labs. The main buildings were to be placed at least 7 meters apart because of fire risk, but were linked to one another by a covered way of galvanized iron. 3 New Zealand observers were also given the task of selecting the site for a base went to McMurdo Sound with the United States Operation Deep Freeze in the summer of 1955. After evaluating possible sites, a location near Butter Point was chosen. This was later changed to Pram Point as it provided better access for offloading supplies from the expedition ship HMNZS Endeavour and also allowed for the operation of the critical RNZAF Antarctic flight on a nearby ice runway. The base looks out over what is now known as Haskell Strait. Scott Base passed over to NZ government ownership via the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research on March 5, 1958, at the conclusion of the TE. During the IGY, the United States facility at Hut Point did not operate as a scientific base. It was the New Zealand expedition's responsibility to furnish the important scientific data, linking the McMurdo area research activities with those of the United States Pole Station and the joint United States-New Zealand station at Cape Hallett, Victoria Land. In 1958, following completion of the TE and IGY, New Zealand made the decision to continue to operate Scott Base for scientific research, much of which depends upon the continuity of recorded data over a period of years. In order to maintain operations, a base rebuilding program began in 1976. As of 2008, the only original building is the TE AMS hut, which contains material recording New Zealand's involvement in Antarctica since 1957. In 2005, the 2-story high Hillary Field Centre was commissioned, increasing the floor area of Scott Base by 1,800 square meters and providing work areas to support field parties as well as additional office space. The building was officially opened by then Foreign Minister Phil Goff and Sir Edmund Hillary. From 1957 until 1986, dogs played a part in base operations. Initially they were an essential means of transport, but with better technology their importance dwindled until they were removed in line with environmental treaties. Scientific diving operations began in 1985. Between 1985 and 2006, a total of 1,296 had been logged. Historic site. The air hut of Scott Base is the only existing Commonwealth Trans-Antarctic Expedition building in Antarctica. It has been designated a historic site, a monument, following a proposal by New Zealand to the Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting. The base today. The base is made up of a collection of Chelsea cucumber green buildings which are linked by all-weather corridors. These buildings can accommodate 85 people over summer, with a skeleton staff of between 10 and 14 people remaining over the winter. Like nearby McMurdo Station, Scott Base is connected to the global telephone network via a satellite Earth station operated by Spark New Zealand, located approximately 3 kilometres away at arrival heights. Spark NZ also provide phone services to McMurdo for calls to New Zealand as well as to the Italian program at Terra-Nova-Bay. McMurdo Station has an independent communications infrastructure located at Black Island and linked to Ross Island via microwave. Scott Base is today operated by Antarctica New Zealand. 3 Eneconi 33 wind turbines each were deployed in 2009 to power Scott Base and USA's McMurdo, reducing diesel consumption by 11% or 463,000 litres per year. Climate. The base has fairly typical weather conditions for coastal Antarctica, with minimum temperatures around -45 degrees Celsius in summer, maximum only occasionally above freezing point. It is exposed to the full strength of southerly blizzards, although overall it is less windy than McMurdo Station. The maximum wind velocities experienced have been gusts up to 185 kilometers per hour, with steady velocities under blizzard conditions of 95 to 115 kilometers per hour. The highest recorded temperature was 6.8 degrees Celsius, the coolest -57 degrees Celsius, and the mean temperature -19.6 degrees Celsius. View.